All right, today we're jumping into the world of spiritual energy healing. We're going to take a look at a promotion for one of these services and just break it down. Now, our goal here isn't to say if it's real or not. We're simply trying to understand what they're offering, right? What's the problem they claim to fix? What are the methods? And what do they promise you'll get out of it? We're just looking at the language they use. So, let's get into it.
The whole entire service really hinges on this one core idea: negative energy removal. It sounds pretty intense, right? But what does that actually mean, at least from their perspective? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at the exact words they use to describe what they do.
Okay, so think about it. Any service you buy is basically supposed to solve some kind of problem. So before we can even get into the healing part, we first have to figure out what problem this service is actually supposed to fix. And according to them, the root of it all is some kind of unseen interference in our lives.
And the way they frame this is pretty brilliant, actually. They take this big, kind of spooky idea of unseen forces, and they tie it directly to two things everybody wants: success and tranquility. Your career, your peace of mind. And just like that, a vague spiritual threat becomes a very real roadblock to your everyday happiness and goals.
So, you're probably wondering, what are these unseen forces? Well, they don't just leave you guessing. Nope. They get super specific, and they actually give these negative things a name. And here they are. They name 3 specific sources of this bad mojo: evil forces, black magic, and the evil eye. I mean, these aren't just words they pulled out of a hat, right? These are heavy hitters. They're terms that have a ton of history and weight in cultures all over the world, which immediately puts someone's problems into a framework that might feel familiar. And this is where they tie it all together, in their own words. This quote is basically their main pitch. It says, look, here's the problem, these specific, named forces, and here's how it's affecting you. It's getting in the way of your success and your peace. It's a crystal clear connection.
Okay, so we've got the problem down. These unseen forces are messing things up. So, what's the fix? How do they claim to actually get rid of all this negativity? Let's dig into their methods and who exactly is doing the work.
First things first, you have to look at the practitioner. They don't just call themselves one thing. They've got 3 titles: an aura cleanser, an energy healer, and a spiritual expert. It's like a trifecta of expertise, right? Each title suggests a different skill set all rolled into one person to build confidence.
And the process itself, they lay it out in 3 pretty simple steps. It's a clear plan. First, they cleanse your space, your surroundings. Then they focus on you, creating what they call a protective shield. And finally, they go internal to rebalance your own energy. It's a whole package deal: your home, your personal defenses, and your inner self.
Now, they say they use traditional spiritual methods, and you might hear that and think of one specific ancient practice. But not exactly. They define it their own way. For them, it's all about creating a custom plan with individualized protection solutions and guided rituals. It sounds very personal, very tailored to you.
All right, so you've gone through the whole process: the cleansing, the protection, all of it. What's the payoff? This is the big question, right? This is the most important part: what they promise you'll walk away with. Let's look at the results they say you're going to get.
First up, inner peace. This makes perfect sense, doesn't it? The problem was a lack of tranquility, and this is the direct solution. It's that feeling of just being calm, being centered after all that external and internal chaos has been cleared away. Next on the list, mental clarity. The whole idea here is that all that negative energy is basically like a fog in your brain. So get rid of it and boom, you can think straight again. You can make better decisions and actually see your path forward without all the confusion.
And the third promised benefit is emotional healing. Now this one's huge. This really taps into that universal desire to deal with past hurts and current emotional struggles. The claim is that this energy work can literally help mend those wounds and just get you to a healthier emotional state.
So when you look at the whole picture, everything they do, from identifying those unseen forces to performing these guided rituals, it's all designed to lead to these 3 very powerful outcomes: inner peace, mental clarity, and emotional healing. That's the complete package. That's the promise being made.
So, stepping back from this one example for a second, it really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, let's just set aside personal beliefs for a moment. The fact that there's a real demand for services like this, what does that tell us about our modern search for peace, for a clear path to success? It's a fascinating look into the needs and maybe the anxieties of our time. Thanks for digging into this with us.